And here we go. Here is Xamot. No Tomax, though. Strikes me as weird that this pre-order got shipped just on his lonesome, and his brother didn't arrive. But you know what? Any more action figure fun around MoDXtra Towers is always welcome, so I'll take what I can get. You know, screwy shipping, Hasbro shipping situation and all that. But here he is. In packet, it's the standard G.I. Joe classified packaging, as you can see. Got the window there showing off the figure and the accessories. Although, upon first observation, I knew this when I ordered it, but it doesn't quite feel like I'm getting the added value that I've come to expect from G.I. Joe classified figures. That there's a bit too much dead space, not filled with lovely extra goodies that we tend to find with the G.I. Joe classified stuff. But that's okay, that is what it is. Then we've got the character artwork on the side here. These are always just great choices, great pieces of work, just giving the character lots of personality and telling the story of who they are. So that's all lovely. Then on the side, Xamot is the 45th character in the range, and we've got the standard G.I. Joe classified data card what's it that they put on the side here that you need to cross-reference with the Hasbro website. On the other side, it's more artwork, and I believe that if you get his brother and place it here, his brother has the profile facing in the opposite direction, and the rest of the Cobra symbol is completed. But obviously, with only one of them arriving, I can't check that, I don't know. So this might be a box I keep, because I'm a box binner, folks. I'm not a box keeper, I'm a box binner. I'll keep hold of this box and we'll take a look at that when Tomax finally arrives. And then the back, let's have a look at the back. It's the standard G.I. Joe classified kind of marketing artwork and all the legal malarkey there across the bottom. Still, any clues, anybody, as to who this mysterious shadowy figure is here in the centre? Who might we be getting down the line? Is there a cheeky little surprise on the way? I don't know. But there's the packaging. Let's get this bad boy open. So I've already cut the tape. Let's go in from the bottom. Get my finger in there. Oh. Paperwork, slide him out. There we go. It's the standard Cobra backing card. He's not part of a special line or anything. And we've got his little submachine gun there. Tape, sellotape. Gordon Bennett. Oh no! Oh, look at that one. That was an easy one. We've got his little kind of I don't know what this is called, but the kind of weebly wobbly dagger thing. The magazine for the submachine gun. Looks like there's a little silencer for the submachine gun. And then a second, will this one come out just as easy? It will. A second Weebly Wobbly knife. Someone let me know in the comments down below what the technical term is for these Weebly Wobbly knives. Da, 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 da. Oh, I hate that noise. Oh, Christ, I've just put my thumb right through the plastic there. We have... Hey, Xamot doesn't want to come out and play. Come on, Xamot. Ah! Whew! The figure himself. There he is, look. Strong first impression right out the box. Do you know what? The jokes that have been knocking around online about it being the evil Tom Cruise action figure, in hand, looks even more the case. It's shocking, but there we go. Right, I'm going to go away and have a play with Xamot, pose him up, do some shelf displays, take some photos. If you're a regular viewer around here by now, you'll know the routine, and I'll be back in a couple of days once I've got to grips with him to share some thoughts. Before we go any further, folks, remember you could be in the business of making dreams come true. A couple of reviews back, I asked for help to get me over 100 subscribers, and you did it. You mobilized. A massive thank you to those of you out there who did subscribe and make that dream come true. But I'm not resting on my laurels. I'm actually now creeping up on 150, and I've been overwhelmed by the response, if I'm being honest. I'm just absolutely over the moon to think that I've broken 100 and now creeping up on 150. So if you are not subscribed to the channel and it is in your power to do so, then please do bless me with a click of that subscribe button. If you are like me and you're just a big old nostalgia head who loves plastic crap, then this could very well be the channel for you to come and hang out on. So click that subscribe button, come and join the MoDXtra community, and just let me know I'm going in the right direction. And if you are subscribed, a huge thank you. You're amazing. I appreciate your time and effort watching my videos. And here we go. Here is Xamot in the plastic. Very excited to have at least 50% of the twins in the collection right now. I have seen in mainland Europe that both the twins have arrived, and the retailer that I use has got Tomax listed to arrive this month too, but I've not heard anything else since, so I don't know what's gone on there, but still, here we are, 50% of the twins are here in hand in my collection. I must admit, it's been a little bit longer between the unboxing, recording the unboxing section of the video and coming back and sharing my thoughts. Normally, I would unbox it and then maybe give it 3 days. Play around with it, take some photos, get it in the display, see how it sits, try some different poses out, and then come back maybe around 3 days later to share my thoughts. I don't understand the reviewers who can like literally open it up and go, right, review the figure, and get it up on YouTube within the same day. That doesn't make any sense to me. You've not had enough hands-on time with it. However, I got this guy over a week ago now. It's been much longer than usual because I was kind of in two minds. Do I wait for his brother to come and then do the review of them both together? If I review this one now, am I then going to set myself up so that I'm basically making a repeat review to all intents and purposes, but without the scar? I don't know, but honestly, between you and me, dear viewers, I'm so excited. This is basically a G.I. Joe Classified channel at this point in time because they're coming so thick and fast. I'm feeling so swept up in the excitement that I'm going to sit down, review it, edit the video, and then decide whether I wait or not. I think that's fair. So if you're watching this right now and I'm just reviewing Xamot, you'll know what's going on. But talking about the review, I'm going to follow my usual routine. I have indeed been away and had a good play with him now. I'm going to follow my usual routine, which I call the 3 A's. I'm going to start by talking about the aesthetic. How does Xamot look? Then I'm going to move on to articulation. How does he feel? And then finish up talking about the accessories and the added value. What else is going on with Xamot beyond the figure itself? So yeah, that's probably been a longer intro than I like to do nowadays. So let's wrap that up there and get into talking about how Xamot looks. Right then, Xamot's aesthetic, and I mean, for the nostalgia heads out there, this is clearly evocative of the old 80s G.I. Joe cartoon look. You know, the uniform is very evocative of that original uniform. So for the nostalgia heads out there, this clearly ticks a lot of boxes in terms of evoking your memories of sitting on your carpet watching the cartoon back in the 80s. It's an interesting choice because there's been a bit of toing and froing, I think, with G.I. Joe Classified, where you've got these kind of classic look uniforms, but then you've also got classic look, but with a more militaristic, modern, contemporary, almost science fiction-y twist, and they've been going back and forth. I know it's been talked about in the community. I know Lenny has kind of addressed it a little bit on some of the live streams that they've done, whereas this figure is clearly all in on the nostalgia. All in on the classic look. However, what I will say is that after having him on the shelf for a few days, and whenever I've walked past and admired him in amongst my collection, and I've been doing some photos with some other figures like Cobra Commander and my Viper, he doesn't appear too cartoony. You know, it may be the classic look uniform, and it is a bit ridiculous, you know, with the codpiece and the Cobra armor on the thighs and stuff, you know, when you actually stop and think about it. However, it doesn't stand out as looking too cartoony. The colour choices and something in the way that they've sculpted it has meant that that story is, that narrative of what you're looking at on the shelf is not too interrupted by that classic look. So it does strike you immediately, you go, oh, he's a bit more classic look and less military compared to other figures, and he's not had that kind of modern contemporary military upgrade that other G.I. Joe Classified figures have, but it works. It does actually work. I'll affirm that my experience is he sits in amongst the display and doesn't stand out as too cartoony. Bringing him closer to the camera so we can take a better look at the head sculpt. Like we've come to expect with the G.I. Joe Classified range, the head sculpt is brilliant. Second to none. None of this inconsistent ups and downs that we're seeing with the likes of Black Series and Marvel Legends, in my humble opinion. They are consistently doing great head sculpts. Look at the detail, the cheeks, the chin, the nose, the eyebrows, the steely look in the eyes. They've obviously got the little scar in there. I was trying to remember, is Xamot the more reckless of the two brothers, the slightly more reckless one? I couldn't put it together in my head, and I meant to look it up before I started recording, but didn't. But there you go. But talking about the head sculpt, yeah, just great. Look at that. Look at the definition on the side of the face, in the cheeks, the hair. Great detail in the hair there, just awesome. So one of the elements that draws your eye about G.I. Joe Classified are these excellent head sculpts, and they've done it once again with Xamot. Lots of other detail in the figure as well to give it some texture, give it some depth, like the creases here in the sash across his chest, love that. And then we've got creases and folds in his uniform, around his belly here and at the top of his trouser legs. We've got the metal work, the rivets in his shoulder piece here, Again, adding a bit of realism, touch of realism to the figure. All the kind of Cobra-y motif stuff going on. So in the red parts of the armor, we've got these Cobra-y stripe motif things, as well as all the molded snake motifs going on. Although the snake teeth on his codpiece, I'm not sure what he's telling us there, but there you go. But the colour scheme as well, the red, the blue, the silver, all kind of frames each other up very nicely. Lovely detail on the Cobra badge on his chest there. So that's all adding up very well. Loving also on the arms, nice bit of musculature, and of course these great pinless joints that we're now getting. I've seen this recently on my Outback figure as well, but they look really tremendous. Very into that. The silver in the added on, the outer piece as well as the molded silver is close enough that it doesn't stand out. Although this little wrist gadget thing, the bit on his gauntlet, does look a little different, but that's okay. But it all stands out, but all suitably kind of ostentatious in that Xamot kind of way, so it's working. And then you can see all the texture here in the boots too. So even though it's got the kind of classic, more cartoony aesthetic, definitely bringing some nice touches of detail to break it out of that kind of cartoony association and bring it in line with the rest of the series. One little nitpick on this figure, one of those little things like once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. And I don't know if it's the same across all Xamots or whether it's just mine, but see that little bit of blue? That little bit of blue poking out there where the neck and the body piece meet. Once I clocked it, I couldn't stop noticing it. It's annoying me a little bit, but there you go. I don't know if that's consistent across all the Xamots, but it's there nonetheless. But a bit of a nitpick, but yeah, an annoyance. It's bugging me. Just one of those stupid things. So there we go. There's some chat about how Xamot looks in conclusion. Classic look uniform, but not too cartoony that he looks out of place against the other G.I. Joe Classified Series figures we've had to date. Also, despite the kind of plain elements of his uniform, they managed to find lots of opportunity to give us some lovely texture and detail. Let's now move on to talk about his articulation. The articulation is most definitely at the standard that we've come to expect with G.I. Joe Classified, and all the articulation points on Xamot are in line and consistent with the articulation points we've seen before. Beginning with the head, there's a ball underneath the head and then a hinge at the bottom of the neck, so we've got good left and right, bit of tilt that we can do there. The back is a bit restricted by his armour-plated shoulder piece here, but forward can go all the way down to there. So if you want him looking up at the skies, you're going to have to use the ab crunch, I'm afraid, folks. Moving further down now into the arms and shoulders, we've got the butterfly joint here in the shoulders. Mine's a little bit gummy, not a great range of motion there. And of course, on this left arm, it can be a little bit restricted or look a little bit funny with this shoulder plate over the top. However, that doesn't get too much in the way. You can do a full T, and it's flexible here. You can see it sits on top and doesn't look too ridiculous, which is nice. And the arm articulation, we've got a swivel at the top of the bicep, we've got the nice double elbow there with the pinless joints, woo, and then we've got swivel and a little hinge in the wrist. Although, interestingly enough, I noticed with Xamot, the hinges in the wrist are both up and down, no, not an in and out, whereas traditionally in the past we've seen the hinges on the G.I. Joe Classifieds, we've got one up and down and one in and out. I don't know if those are the technical terms, but they're the terms I'm going for. Then in the torso, got the crunch point here. That's decent. Goes all the way forward, goes all the way back, and then there's a bit of swivel in the waist as well. Into the legs and the hips, then you'll see it's the standard G.I. Joe Classified drop-down joint there, giving a great range of motion where the legs meet the hips. In fact, I noticed on Xamot, he's got fantastic splits action. He must have been a dancer. Also draws more attention to those serpentine toothed codpiece. But we got a swivel at the top of the thigh there, a nice double knee that goes all the way back. There's a swivel at the top of his boot line here, and then the standard forward and back and side to side rocker that you generally get with their feet as well. One thing I have noticed in articulation, some of the poses I was trying to get him into the other day, these little sticky up knee bits can be a help and a hindrance. They can be helpful when you're trying to get him in kind of kneeling poses, but they can be a bit of a hindrance in some of the other poses I was trying to do. So something to be mindful of, but didn't really bother me all that much. I just thought I'd point it out. I'm definitely liking that that's sculpted as a separate piece, though. That's a nice touch, Hasbro. Well done, G.I. Joe Classified team. Okay, so that was the articulation rundown. Now let's move into the third A, which is accessories. Now, I would probably say that the accessory selection on Xamot is my main point of criticism. This is where the figure is perhaps most let down. This is by comparison to the standard that they've set, by the standard that we've come to expect with G.I. Joe Classified, because I just don't think the accessory selection is as expansive as we've come to be used to with our G.I. Joe Classified figures, both past and in the future as well. Looking at some of the solicits and all the stuff they're throwing in with future figures, Xamot is falling a little bit short. But he does have a couple of nice pieces. It's just not as much and as much variety or character in the accessories, I think, as we've seen in other figures. So to begin with, we've got these daggers. There's two of these. You can see it's got this cool little wavy blade and the bit of detail in the hilt. I like that it's got the silver blade and the black hilt as well. That's all awesome. But they're just kind of a little bit small, and even though there's a bit of character in them, they're a bit weenie. The weenie daggers. I think they're more like throwing knives, maybe. I saw someone in a photo had them sort of gripped in amongst his fingers like he was about to throw them like that, which I thought was interesting. But they've both got a space on the body for storage. We've got a little knife sheath just here on the left-hand side of the body, and then a knife sheath here on the side of the right boot. And there's the submachine gun here. Looks like those machine guns that the villains used in Die Hard, to my eye. But I'm not a firearms guy, so I don't know. The submachine gun's good. It's all in one colour, but there's nice little bits of detail in the sculpting. The magazine is removable as well, so if you want to do a few kind of posed reloading shots tucked behind a wall and all that kind of thing, you can do. So that's a decent piece of kit. And then with the submachine gun, there's a silencer, which just slots in like that. One thing I've also noticed with the submachine gun, fitting it into his fingers, so he's got this little kind of two-fingered, I don't know if you can see that very well, my lighting's maybe not doing it justice. See if the autofocus, see there? It's like not just a single sticky out trigger finger. So it could be a little tricky sometimes to get the gun in. And with there you go. I mean, I've managed to do it on camera there now. There we are. But there's a bit of manipulation required. To get the submachine gun in his hand. But I think, like I said, I think those fingers are like that because there's a throwing knife, a throwing of the knives element there. But I'm not 100% on that. Did they throw knives in the cartoon? I can't remember. But yeah, there you go. And that's it. That's it on the accessories. The two knives, the submachine gun, its silencer, and its magazine. And here you go, folks, just as a little comparison point, I've just popped Cobra Commander here, just on my little stage next to Xamot. You can see how the colour schemes and the sort of cobra-y, snaky motifs are consistent between the two figures, and how they match quite nicely in a sort of uniformal way, but don't blend so much that it's boring. Cobra Commander, of course, with his little splashes of gold to acknowledge his higher status in the organisation compared to Xamot, but still, Xamot's got his silver going on, keeping him just as ostentatious. But yeah, you can see, nice. They work really well together. And I'll drop another one in. Here's a Cobra Viper, which again maintains that sort of blue, red, black kind of colour scheme thing with the Cobra motifs. And you can see, once again, how they consistently tie together, how there's a kind of cohesion to the uniformal elements of the Cobra organisation. And they do pose up great for some photos, they really do. So there you go, there's just a little comparison against some of the kind of figures that you would most likely see in the next two. Although, of course, when the Crimson Trooper comes along, he'll be gone. It'll be Crimson Trooper time there. And here we go. Here is Xamot on the turntable in a pose that I've had him in on the shelf for a couple of days now. Well, on and off for the last couple of days. The blast effect coming out the barrel there is a Valaverse one, but I put that on because it just felt right. Xamot strikes me as a bit of a hipfire kind of guy, so I've got him just loosey-goosey with his submachine gun popping off shots there. But you can see, yeah, it's a good-looking figure. It's a good-looking figure. I'm very happy to have a little bit more in the ranks of my Cobra collection that's not soldiers, you know, army builder types. The kind of central command is coming together quite nicely, and when his brother arrives, and I've just had Storm Shadow, there's a nice little collection of unique characters in that space to join Cobra Commander and Zartan and Major Blood, etc., etc. So very pleased with that. He's certainly got all the kind of standard articulation and poseability that we've come to be used to with the G.I. Joe classified stuff, so that's really great to see. Yeah, my only complaint really is that odd bit of blue at the bottom of his neck and the limited accessory selection. We've just become so used to, spoilt, I suppose. I've been spoilt. I'm now entitled. I'm an entitled G.I. Joe classified collector saying, where's my backpack and where's my extra pistol and where's my... where's the torch or the camera or the whatever else, you know what I mean? All the extra stuff that we seem to find ourselves getting with the G.I. Joe classified figures. But I'd certainly recommend it. I can't wait to see what he looks like stood next to his brother when that finally arrives. So, yeah, there we go. That wraps up my review. I hope you've enjoyed hearing my thoughts and comments on Xamot today. If you have, then please do take a moment to hit the subscribe button. It would be my honour and privilege to have you as a regular viewer on this channel. And if you've enjoyed the review, of course, make your way over to the thumbs up like button while you're down there as well. This is MoDXtra Games and Collectibles. I'm a massive man-child nerd who's in his 40s now. He's got money of his own, spending tons of plastic crap that I keep bringing into the house. So if you're like me and you worship at the broad church of nerddom and you like lots of different collectibles, then maybe this is the channel for you. Even though it has felt a bit like a G.I. Joe classified channel for a little while. But yeah, there we go. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around. And I'll see you here around these parts for another review sometime soon. See you later, folks.